Okay, finally got the audio to work. So this is like my daily experience success university school blog. I kind of borrowed that from KAFR and added to it. So sorry if my other YouTube videos, the audio is not perfect. I'm trying to re-record. It's weird to watch a video where you don't hear anything and then try to dub audio. And I'm just doing this by myself, so for now, this is my channel. So, but it's everybody's channel. If we had a list of every owner, I just would be at the top or at the bottom. I'm not really sure, or somewhere in between. So, thankfully the audio is working now. I didn't notice it. See, the old Streamlabs I used on Windows 7 was real nice. It worked almost perfectly, you know. But this new one is tricky. So I guess I can show it to you on the screen. I actually had to select a audio input capture, which on the old one was separate. Not separate, but together. Like you just had the video capture and it would work. This one gives you a lot more control, so that's, you know, there's always advantages and disadvantages. So the improvement is that you can control the channel, multiple channels, add multiple channels in, and I have a clear separate controller here. And then there's like a hidden thing. You have to go, this list here is kind of ambiguous. It just says open sound settings or open volume mixer. And if you're not sure which one is which, the sound settings is the top one, where you'll find the stuff you'll need. At least I have. So if you're trying to set this up on Windows 10 like I was, you have to go to this thing. It was set an external mic, which usually means that you have to plug in a mic, which I haven't plugged one in to this yet. Some of my headphone sets have a built-in mic, like the cheapest ones. 3 options here: the line-in, external. Both line and external, I think, are ones that you connect, or additional mics, so you can put 2 or 3 mics if you're recording more music, or you have 3 singers, or you know, a trio, or other special reasons, you know. Many, they're actually infinite. And then you have to click on this button here. This is laid out differently than Windows 7 XP 3.1 and Vista, the other ones I've used, and different than a little different than what you would see in like an Apple device or Android or other operating systems. So here on the device here, you have to actually put the volume. It's by default almost at 100%, but you have to tune it down. Otherwise, there's oscillation, which if you don't know what that means, it's that weird ringing noise that you hear on a mic. It's like, it just gets louder until almost like either your ears hurt, and if it's loud enough, it can actually injure someone, which is sad, but it can heal. But there should be always like an emergency stop button, just like one red key, like the easy stop button, like from that commercial at Staples. We always see that one install when it just stops the audio, or stops the whole computer if I gotta do it. You know, like 2 easy buttons maybe to save me, you know. So that's my little tutorial there. I'm trying to make like a blog kind of transcript of what I'm saying. And later on I gotta listen to myself and type this all out. I'm gonna organize it, hopefully into a nice little ebook, free for everybody who can't afford to pay anything, but for those who want to pay, I want to charge 10 cents or less. But some stuff on Google like doesn't allow you to choose a number that low. I think like on Google Play you have to, or PayPal, you have to give a minimum of $1, sometimes $5 or something, and that's a little too much, I think. So I hope, because I've applied to work as a software engineer for both of those companies, that we can change that, you know, because like cents should be accepted and would save a lot of money for people and make it more affordable. Plus people can, I like the idea of having like some kind of minimum balance people can spend that always renews. So it helps people out a bit. Always have at least $1 in there. I know that is hard work to program into in a lot of accounts because there are billions on earth to do. And really, it's the responsibility of whoever owns it or who's been given the job. So I'm glad the audio is working good now. I did a test video. It's not oscillating. That's good. I can see the bar on there. Maybe you can't see it on your thing, but if I move this over, you can see it, right? Yeah, you can kind of see it. So this is kind of a screen. So on a larger screen, this will be a little clearer. I'm sorry for the pixel quality. Even on the highest one, the camera looks kind of okay. It's not like full ultra HD. So this is the best I can do for today. So we'll try to improve that. I really need new hardware to do, or learn how to improve this hardware, like replace the camera or add a camera. That's probably the easier way to do it. So I was thinking of blogging today about something. So today my father's working on concrete insulation for retaining heat in the house. So I'm worried about the budget. So I've been trying to save up every dollar and cent I can. If you're wondering, and I'm all for, even only 1/3 of the people on earth accepted this, all monies being legal, being universally accepted and not just only accepted in one country's currency, which doesn't make sense. So, because America is like over 100 countries, so it's kind of weird we're not accepting Canadian dollars, and then we complain about making too little money. And then we can actually photocopy a dollar and use that legally as a deposit. There's actually a bank app that's been around for a long time. I know sometimes it doesn't work perfectly, right from the Google store or the Android store, whatever iPad, Apple store you get your stuff from, or any other website like oldversion.com. A plug for those guys. I love that website. All websites have something good on it. Even the ones with the viruses and stuff. Like if you actually learn, how to code that and fix that and what it's really for and stuff, it helps. But most of the viruses were kind of like mistakes that unfortunately got uploaded. And then behind that, of course, it's the antivirus company trying to sell their stuff to you. But you find out none of the antiviruses that you can download, even that you write, will work perfectly all the time. So there's a lot of manual work, and only like one site will have a record of that. And so you have to fix it one line of code at a time. But the first thing you do before that, I'm going to write that in my notes, is that you have to back up all your most important data. So always do that, of course. Before you used to just copy it all to like a disk or a zip drive or whatever you had, or another hard drive. Some people have like 2 hard drives on their desktop. That's like the best hardware to have, besides the server. Yeah. The other thing I learned is making an ISO. If you can actually ISO the whole hard drive and copy it, and then take the time to fix it and have another hard drive that you can swap in. With the new computers, they actually have to be mounted some special way. But the older computers, they don't have to be mounted. Desktops are usually easier to be swapped. So it's nice because you can just swap in another hard drive and be up and ready in, less than 5 minutes or 10. So otherwise, some of the harder viruses are harder to find and hidden, and then if you're lucky, like a week to find out where it is and how to fix that stuff. Don't go with the option. I strongly disagree with wiping the hard drive, which really doesn't wipe it. It actually creates a barrier in the hard drive, like kind of burns like a wall where the disk laser can't read, and then hides that information from you. So if you find it, that missing information, you can get every single file you had. So, but to save you time, just copy stuff to wherever you can. A CD, a DVD, a disc, even if you got spare room on your phone, copy your most essential files there. So you always have another copy you can run. So, like, I keep over a dozen copies of my top files that I'm working on. So, because I have to actually get a blueprint, supply list, and this stuff will be actually on Amazon later on. Once I finish one of my books, but I have a whole folder full of books. You're getting a sneak peek here. Here, I'll show you our File Explorer. So if you go to the C drive, see, I have this long list of files, and I got in my business what I call the family and stuff. I got all this, and then my books folder is like a long. Okay, there's only one in there. But my original one, there was a long list. You could see I'm working on a lot of different things at once. So. But I'd like to make just a kind of quick to the point booklets, which is faster, just to get the namesake, just to get kind of control of the real estate on Amazon. Because you find out all websites are like digital real estate. It's really true. So if you control more of it and you have more of it, it's all about numbers. And you have to be patient to create that stuff. And then if you upload enough people will know you. And, maybe out of 10 or 20 people, you only get one customer in your first time that you successfully upload that many, which is different for everybody. Somebody might do it in a day. Somebody, that's the luckiest person. Somebody might do it in a week, a month, a year. For me, it's like decades or a century. But then you can get some decent income, and people know who you are before you know them, which helps. It opens like the door halfway. Otherwise, if you're a stranger, they don't know what you do or have seen really your ability, then it's hard for them to trust you, hard for them to hire you, hard for them to even figure out what to ask or where to start and how much to pay you. So it's just right now, this hard drive only has 150 gigabytes of free space. It's smaller than what I originally wanted. I wanted a 500 gig, even though there's 750s and terabytes, which are 1,000 gigabyte. So those ones are a little nicer, but the durability is a little lower for laptops. So even on a solid state device, if you drop the laptop, if you drop your coffee on it, if you accidentally step on your laptop or sit on it or crunch it, oh my God, like fixing it is possible, but it's a lot of work that you have to learn, and actually putting a new part in is easier, which most technicians do. Only the highest skilled, and somebody with a lot of tools will actually, I guess, would glue the board back together and then re-solder every transistor and component. But that would be an incredible amount of work. It would be interesting to see that done. I've never actually seen that even on video. But I know it probably could be done. I believe it. Anything's possible, right? With God. So, thank everybody. God bless everybody for watching this video. I forget, because I've said this message before in other videos. In my first ones, I never said stuff like that. So, eternal life, eternal happiness, eternal wealth, and eternal monies. Like, we need an eternal homes, families. Those are the best things you have in life. So, Let's see if we can get working here. So a few tips when you're setting up OBS. Oh, one major tip, lower the bit rate if you don't have a lot of hard drive space. Like somebody might have thousands of terabytes. I can actually hear my voice now, so sorry for the echo. But thousands of terabytes of space, so they don't need to conserve, and they can use full-size HD. Because by default, Streamlabs OBS, or online broadcasting system, actually is set to 2,500 kilobytes per second. But if you lower it to 500, the file is only about a fifth of the size, and it's more manageable. But you can play around with that. But the quality varies a little. But it's graded, so it's not exact. You know, it's kind of like a chop cookie cutter system. So if you want more control, you can always get, you know, Adobe Video Premiere and stuff, and more software that works in more detail. So let's get working on the Word here. So the Word version I have is actually a 2008 version. I bought this a long time ago, but you know, it reads the .x format, which is by default what it uses. But you can save. You go save as. I'm still learning. You know, I haven't used every option in the whole menu, but if you go to save as type, you can choose the old style Word document, which sometimes you need to do. Or you can get a batch converter and just convert it out. Hopefully every file works. And really, if you haven't opened up every file or have some kind of verifier, some of the files might be corrupt or unreadable or partially corrupt. So if it's really important, do take that extra second or minute to check things. Make sure it works right. Some converters will create a nice file that looks right, and it's able to copy, but when you open it, it won't work. So I've tried to install both versions of 2003 Office and 2007 or 8 on the same partition, on the same operating system, under the same username, and run one at a time or both, but it doesn't seem to work well. Seems the newer one kind of overseeds and works, and then the other one doesn't work at all. It has some kind of error message. But this particular installation, which is new, was my last laptop actually died out. The fan died out. It was overheating. In the country I visit, they're still using electricity that's a little high, but there's also flaws in the unit here. It's a refurbished unit too. So, but even brand new units I used to own, I'd had the same exact problem. And besides running an air conditioner and a fan and giving it a break, I haven't been able to solve always the heating problem. There's one little power option that helps a little, but there's a lot more stuff that I could do that I have to learn. So, yep, always back up your data. You know, multiple backups. In addition to that, your most important files, do like 10. Like I send them to emails, but sometimes one screwy thing about like the Gmail thing is that sometimes there's like a false positive and a lack of controls on the antivirus. So if you upload a file that has a false positive on it, it won't allow you to re-download the file initially. And there's a bypass somewhere in the Gmail system, but I have yet to find it yet. I need to ask somebody, senior software experts of Google, on how to find that key. Like what's the key or code or button, or there's 108 keys on the keyboard, so I could just press every key and see if it works. That might be faster than trying to call on these guys if they're even awake They're throughout the world, and some of them are traveling, some are from other nations, like me. So, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. And we're glad to have you here. I'm just here trying to help share little bits of information. So this version of Word, if you remember 2003, which I used for I think over 15 years, and it was the same version. I used to be on like a Dell laptop, which I used both for work, and it was a Precision M90. So, but that version, the buttons were different a little. Like they were actually put into the menus here. Like these, when you pushed out, there was like a drop-down menu. Now it's like a whole icon button thing, which at first was a little, like I didn't like as much, but this is actually wider and you gotta scroll further to get the same stuff. And then the icons look nice, but they cost more room. So, and then some of the same options that used to be here are not in here anymore, which you can add some, ideally, and if you know the most about this, you probably could add anything you wanted. But there's a limit on the preset options that you can choose from. But this is enough to work with already. So I don't use everything on these menus here. Some I don't even know what they do. Like, what does new comment do? Like, does that add a comment on top or in the corner? You know, that's always a weird, like, game on any these softwares and, like, where the placing of this. So, okay. So I'm glad. And then yesterday's stuff, I just integrated it. I did a video yesterday, but you probably can't hear the audio. Now I gotta dub my own voice in there or put words at the bottom. But it was stock prediction. So yesterday the stocks on the Dow Jones, which is 100 American stocks, right? Actually based in the United States, mostly 50% of their workforce, which by law is required. They never give more than 50%. And they split that between over 199 or 204 nations, depending on your list of nations. The highest one I've seen is 205. So that excludes the United States of America, because I have to subtract that for that math for some reason. But out of all those nations, only half the workforce is overseas. So mainly they all use English, obviously. So the Dow Jones had like the second biggest drop that I know of, and it may not be the biggest drop listed for the whole year of 2021, but it's 614 points. I remember there was a bigger drop like a month or two ago. That was about 700 points. I don't follow the market all day, so there's a lot of numbers I haven't read. I just see a chart, you know, on Google for the whole year. And so my like little game, let's say, like a little self-quiz, is to see if you can predict how many points the market will close at. Now, the market moves throughout the day, and each stock actually has a different value out of the 100. And there's literally thousands, if not millions, or possibly infinite number of stocks. So, but you need to focus on your top stocks, you know, one at a time. And if you go deeper into one stock and know it really well, and you get the savings, that's the hard part for me to start with that. I got a lot of savings, but I just can't access everything. And then getting the prediction right, and then saving that money is a lot of computer work. So, but mainly I'm invested in real estate now, so, which is more stable and more useful. You know, you find out that you actually can see it and use it, and other people can use it. And it's not as like imaginative or kind of like concept based. Like talking about stocks, it sounds weird, but you can't really hold one in your hand unless you print out the certificate. But you can hold cash in your hand, which I'm working on kind of a system. So if you can save like 100 grand, even just $100, for children doing penny stocks or dollar stocks, that's a good way to start. Or if you're a teenager, just starting out, you don't know much about any company or how it works, that's a good way to start. Get the one with the lowest commission, learn how to work that. But the highest commission usually gives you a faster buy time and more, like the price you get is closer. But sometimes the price might change, but also like the time it takes to sell the stock is important too, especially if you have a lot of stock. Some guys manage literally billions of dollars and they do it full time, or they're like 10th generation stock investors. So their whole family has done it for over, 300 years. Like before America was created, there was still stock, but it was just written on paper or stone or wood or something more hard. Now it's put on a computer machine, which is still hardware, but it's just represented on something that's lightweight and more mobile. So there's more of it. We are at the point in human history where there's the most money ever created on our planet alone, not even including the whole galaxy, which is weird to think of, but you can register titles, money, stock on another planet and stuff, but still operate it on your own. But I would recommend focusing on just this planet Earth first. That's plenty to deal with. More than you can do in a real half a work day, which is less than 5 hours. Because you got to be able to make enough to pay your bills in about 5 to 2 or 3 hours a day, so that you have time to rest, be with your family, and then do something fun in your life. Because you don't want to be like a work drone or what's called a workaholic. That's a term I heard sometimes like in a sitcom. It's actually the door to disease. Maybe you've heard that before. So if you work too much, you will get sick. And then you'll lose. If you work too much too long, you will die. So that's a warning. So that's why work hours have been reduced now to 35 hours a week, which is an average of 6, which is still a little too high. But you're supposed to have like at least 2 days off a week. And really, if you aim for 6 months of vacation, you'll live longer. Like the president works only about half the year. And really, if you count the time he went to school, it's about half the year. It's just they cut into, they schedule it, but they don't consider travel time, homework time, and then adequate time to catch up on sleep. So the mathematics of that is actually a little off. It's based on working hard and long and not living long and having an easy, light burden life, which is a verse in the Bible that you hear Jesus talks about in Matthew. So, of course, the same verse or close is in every other biblical book on earth and every other knowledge. So right now there's over 1 trillion books, but all of them have some line close along that line, so this is important. I mean, sometimes you do need to work good hard, which is different than bad hard. But bad hard will hurt you and your whole family. So even if they don't have to put out money, just the worry and the feeling they get, because your pain reflects off of everybody on earth, and you actually cost them money, time, and stress, and then they lose their happiness. That's why people get angry at you, which on the outside I never mean to do, but I get blamed for a lot of stuff because I'm a quiet person. That's the benefit and what really happens. But if you're like the aggressive, loudmouth, like people are afraid to blame you, like Trump is sometimes, so it helps deflect the blame. So that has an application, so if you learn how to do it. Something like Gary Payton is a real ass. I heard he's like a really mean guy in person, but his father was Mr. Mean, if you actually listen to one of his YouTube videos. But when he acts like that, people don't want to say anything to him. Like Jason Kidd, have you ever heard of him? He was a basketball player. but he retired like at least like a decade ago or something. So now he was in the league like all the way in the 80s, I think, or the 90s. So played almost 20 years. So remember, he said some line to Gary Payton in an interview, and then he never said it again. But yeah, that was like a fun interview I liked, because I used to be a Sonics fan when the team was still operating. Now, officially, what I've read and heard, straight from Gary Payton, but also from other news websites like ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, Fox News, and all the other major networks in the world, which are a long list that goes forever, literally. The franchise is still there in Seattle. It's still staying there, and it could be revived, but they need the support of many investors. Not only the billionaires, but everybody else, you know. So it would be interesting to see the team revive someday. Because Gary Payton still has a house up there, and I do too. My house is not as big as his, of course. But I had a nice city. You know, we had a park that was almost like 10 acres, and the largest lake in the city was a natural lake, actually. If you look at the aerial photos from like the early 90s, before the subdivision was built. And it was actually farmland, which trees, brushes, and then the animals lived on before any people were there. So later on, a farmer actually purchased the land during probably the 90s or 80s. But, you know, you go back in history, it goes into all the different Native American groups that were here, and then pre-colonial groups too, like the Russians, or all other 20 states and provinces, and there's literally billions of Russians listed if you go throughout all of history, like both past, present, and future. So, all right, so this video has been going on for a while. So we got a 32-minute vlog. Yeah. Yeah, what do you need? Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, nóng mình muối and trí thì mình cần nghỉ. Mình cần mua bên the giết the muối or đắp muối or đốt something, or you know, so cần mang some kind of côn thoải mái. So, you know, if you're wondering what language I just spoke, was I'm trying to think about my first lessons of teaching my other second languages per se, but they all feel like first languages after a while. It's like who's on first base. It's Vietnamese, so South Vietnamese. Huh? Okay. Oh, hang on, everybody. Commercial break. Mới giờ sáng, 8 giờ sáng, rồi sáng bao nhiêu chiều, chúng ta cắt cỏ, không ra nói cắt cỏ, thôi thế mình lại. Alright, I'm sorry the view on this camera is not exciting. I don't have a cameraman or a programmable swing camera like the Hollywood guys do. But I'd like to show some of the books I have. I have a small collection here. This is my favorite, of course, the Bible, or New American Bible, which is the version Catholics use. So if you're Catholic, or Roman Catholic as they call us, you're not sure. And if you're not Catholic, there you go, a little piece of knowledge. That's a picture actually in Israel here, if you're wondering what this is. This is like one of the, I think the Sea of Galilee or Major Lake or whatever. Of course, my version is the St. Joseph medium-sized one. And you see that on there. And so, and then on the back, here's the serial number and stuff. So, I actually purchased this directly from eBay account, is what I call it, even though it's just called eBay for short. But there's always the word account in English on the top. So it looks almost like the brand name. But I just like the sound of that. It sounds more correct and formal and cooler, like eBay account. Hey, but the NAB Bible we have has I think 76 books. You include both Old and New Testament. The weird thing about the numbered books, and this is just minor kind of trivial crap, it's not numbered directly on any Bible I've ever seen. So that kind of bothers me. You just have a list of books, but there's no numbers on there. But then, like, somebody asks you trivial questions, like how many books are in the Bible? And there's actually a website that has a list. But I found that's kind of odd. That's not numbered like that. So, but if you put numbers everywhere, it goes crazy too. There's already a lot of numbers in the Bible. In the story, there's numbers. There's always like a census number, I'm trying to remember, from the book of Numbers. And then there's a chapter number, like Proverbs, I think has 31 chapters. But there could be more Proverbs, which I'm working on my own Bible to add more. And kind of rewrite and clarify things, maybe add links and videos that are more detailed, like Encyclopedia Bible almost. And then there's actually a verse number, so which does get confusing, because they're missing the titles on it. So when somebody just says Matthew verse 20 or chapter 4 verse 20, that's kind of ambiguous. And then when they don't give you the actual thing, a lot of teachers are so bad about that and lazy to give you the actual verse, and then make you do the work but take your money. That's really sad. You know, that's why they're all punished. And there's like a giant fiery abyss ready inside of them already. It's actually not anywhere far. So I hate to say that, but it's true. But they survive because it doesn't destroy their soul yet. That's the last level. But be wary of teachers that charge you a lot of money. They promise a lot, promise you wealth. It's kind of like this prosperity teaching, which you have to be. You need some, but you need a balance of both. You kind of need average more than anything else, which is actually between poverty and prosperity, or rich and poor. And I wish they would write the words together, but really you need all three. So that needs to be added to the dictionary. But you find out a lot of words are not in there. And multi-language dictionary. It's just like two languages put together in alphabetical order. I've never seen. That'd be kind of cool to do. So I know I got a lot of these little ideas and stuff. It would take forever to make one. Like being able to copy and paste and write like 100,000 words in one book. It must be so much work. I've probably done it over my lifetime, but I don't have copies of everything I've ever written. You know, not physical copies. Like it's all in my mind, but not, you know, on Amazon or eBay or Etsy or all these websites. I'm learning how to list, because the listing job is actually a lot of work. So, okay. So what do I want to show? See, the problem, somebody's been, in YouTube has been flagging my videos if I show another video. If I sing a song, the other people sing a like a well-known song, right? And they're doing like not a parody, but a cover, what they call it, right? Basically a re-recording of the song or re-singing of the song, but they're not flagged, amazingly. But then the first one I did, like the first three, I was flagged right away, and I'm wondering if that's automatic. But it happened really fast. I can't imagine there's somebody actually sitting there, waiting for new videos. Maybe that's a real job. I would think it was just automatically programmed to do that by a real person, of course, a software program who's trying to get all the credits on there. See, the argument boils down to the money you make. So if you can share credit with all the people who actually wrote that song, then it's good, And then people want control of their own computers, so they don't want to see it on the YouTube. They want it removed, at least on their YouTube. But like on other people, maybe it can be listed. It's kind of hard to program that, but there is an easy way, some way. We just gotta find it. So I'm sorry if I've offended anybody singing somebody else's songs, but the ownership of the song is strange. Because none of us could claim that we created those words. At the beginning of time, that's actually God the Father's claim. So when they say they own the song, I'm like, are they God? Were they really here 6,000 years ago and were the first one to create that and sing it? So you have to find some creative way to get around that. So I'm wondering if creating a subsidiary of YouTube would be good. And how much would that cost? And what would it really cost me? So, and then the finance cost too. So, all right. So let's take a look at the size of this file here. So this is something okay. The file, even though it's not finished, is actually already in this folder. So it's kind of like, dude, 188 megabytes. Okay, that's not too bad. It's still a little big. But sometimes for 100 megabytes, you can fit about 45 minutes of video. So maybe I have to lower the setting a little more, or tweak something. Okay. So, I always try to leave comments on all the videos, so please tell me if any of my videos don't have a set of comments on there. And then the other thing, if you're a person who makes money off of those short links, and it goes to a website, another website, you have full freedom to post on my channel. But if you can, try to save that link and add where it actually goes to, like what kind of website or the title to say. If I just see a randomized link alone, it is the least to put in a comment, and I'll eventually get to it, but it's just nice to be able to know what it goes to, before I click. Thankfully, it's been a good run. I think it's been almost 2 years. I haven't got a major virus that has cut down, even in real life. I had a bad cough one night, but actually it was because I was choking on something. Now, a lot of people think a cough is because of some virus, or really it's a choking situation where you got something on your throat that you need to clean out, or in your nasal area. Sometimes it's both that causes the cough reflex. So, all right, I just said hello. Hi, honey. Hi, Amara. How you guys doing? I got my shirt off. It's actually September 21st, 2021, 1:24 p.m. it's, you know, kind of hot. So I actually ran the air conditioner, which felt nice. I actually can run it right now. It's interesting. I don't know if you can hear that, but sorry if it's a kind of loud. I can't control the sound. Yeah. There's actually a panel, I think, that goes on the front and back of the audio muffled sound. So I'm just going to turn it off now. On my desktop audio, it looks like it's very loud. So, yep. So that's one of the books. I also have, there's another book. You can actually buy these books from multiple websites. You can Google it or use any search engine, wherever you find things, index or whatever. This is another one. This is the People's Prayer Book, the New St. Joseph one. So it has some interesting prayers in it. So I do recommend getting a copy of this. If you have to get an e-copy, that's just as good. It's actually still a hard copy. It's just a lot easier to make a copy with the digital ones and carry it around, especially if you travel a lot like I do. These hard copies I just leave home because I have no room in my little mini carry-on to carry a lot of stuff, and I don't have the strength to carry it. So when I get to my destination, because all the stuff I have is pretty heavy for me. As you find out, people ask you how much you weigh, but really you should start, like, how much does your hand weigh? And then when you gotta lift something, it's only like your hand's like a pound maybe. And then you gotta lift something that's like 50 pounds. That's a lot of weight on one hand, even if it's spread out between two hands. That's why it feels so heavy. And you gotta be able to have a cart or something, which helps. So. Okay. Now, originally when I made this video, I wanted to show some stuff on here. But I think we're going to try to wrap it up here. So if there's more things you want to see, more questions you got, just throw it up in the comments. I actually get a notification on my YouTube account. I try to answer every single comment or comment back. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. It's free. I'm not charging anything yet, but I hope I can program where there's like a free option and like a cheap option, like even just 10 cents, or 1 cent even. So I'm not a big fan of the $2.99 and stuff. I know that's a little bit of money, but having a choice of how much to give is the best. So, and any currency would be amazing. So, like somebody's working on that. Some hard-working, good-hearted set of bankers, which I will love forever. Like really, those people are the happiest and most hopeful and most intelligent and have the best ideas, and they've gotten some success on it. It's pretty cool to see that. But if you're wondering about monies, I have a few of, you find out if you look up the definition, it's under novelty money, or most of the English internet, or American, or whatever you want to call it. But the money, I don't know if I have it here. Money I have here. You find out money can come in any form. It could be on a piece of wood, it could be anything if you open up the definition bigger. So I hope that's defined in the dictionary better. So the word cash is expanded too. So, but I had like a $7, which you can find on eBay. It's actually one, I think somebody drew out by hand first and then created digital copies. So it's a $7 Mother of God dollar. So I'm asking everybody, please support it. You know, like if somebody gives you one, take it and register it and then return it back to them and let them have what they want. Like just try it for God's sake. Like, and ask how it can be done for your boss if your boss is scared or you're scared of your boss. So we can deposit every currency on Earth. It's just so much better. But that's the dumb way of sitting there and taking $1 at a time or $10 a time, even 100. That's a really slow, dumb way of adding money together. The fast way and shortcut is, and the simple way is just to put a huge deposit in everybody's bank account at one time. You know, like 10 grand, 100 grand all at once. And I wish every banker would do that or program that, and it's just done. Like you could just do that and go home at 9 o'clock if you worked at the bank and do whatever you wanted. So I know that sounds impossible for those who have the least faith, but for those who have the most faith, it sounds easy. You find out money is like one of the easiest things to handle when you're learned enough and are good at it. And then miracles are really the hard part to do, especially like eternal life. Some of the other stuff, so it's not too bad. I'm wondering where I put that currency, but I had 2 here. Now I can't remember where I put it, so. But it's not a big deal. I mean, you can see it on eBay. In the search engine, you're wondering how to find it. You just type in novelty money or Mother of God, $7. It should be the first results. Are different sellers, actually. They have different packages and prices, but I think they pre-package them in like a pack of 5 or 10 or even 1, and then they pre-price them. So, and you can go with the set price, or you can actually message the seller, and I've done that and ask for a specific price and then buy it, and sometimes they're nice enough to reply pretty quickly and put the price you want, and you can buy it. I did that, I think, with an ink cartridge or something. So that was a long time ago. That's it. Okay. So that's the end of this show. We finally got the audio working. It kind of bothered me. I think I did like 6 or 7 shows without the audio, and so I'll have to dub my own audio, which is going to be odd to read my own lips because I'm not very good at that. It'll be interesting to do. I'll learn something from that. I learned a lot of things. So. Alright, so God bless everybody. Thank you for watching this long video. And if you get tired, please pause the video or save this. There's a new website. Y2Mate has been discontinued, I guess. Saved. It's still somewhere. But there's another YouTube saving website. YTS1.com or something. You should put it in the search engine. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it's written. It's either S1 or 1S. So S stands for site, probably YouTube site 1. And hopefully we can get a download option on YouTube. It's weird when you're the original creator and you can't even get your own stuff off of YouTube. You got to go to another site. There's not a simple download button. But some websites have that, and some don't. And YouTube being one of the most popular and well-funded sites on Earth, partly, it's still the same as every other website, I guess, in some way. But behind it, there's so much funding and so many programmers are working. I'm surprised that's missing all the time. Because if you go to like certain McDonald's, they actually block YouTube downloading sites, but they don't block YouTube. So I have to download some videos so that I can watch it later. So it reduces the stress on the unit as well. You're not downloading and like streaming. It's like 2 different processes happening at the same time, and it sometimes overheats my computer. So, and then sometimes the internet drops and stuff, so there's other reasons I do it that way. I don't often stream at once, even though I have over 800 videos on this YouTube channel now. So thanks for everybody who's helped. So hope God pays you and blesses you and you get everything you've ever needed in the course of eternity, which is all time. All right. God bless everybody. Or God bless us all. We'll see you later.